We are just 20 less than 24 hours away from the 184th Soweto derby since the inaugural derby in January 1970 between Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs. Kaizer Chiefs going into this one as the underdogs, well, title chasing in Orlando Pirates side come on the back of a 3-0 win over Osutu, where they dispatched the KZN best side at the Moses Mabhida Stadium, having one of the best games to date. With the Pirates coming to the Orlando Pirates come into the game with the most goals in the league so far, with with 50 goals, while their fellow neighbors or arch rivals rather, as Soweto neighbors and Orlando Kaizer Chiefs have scored just 28, with conceding with a goal difference in goals conceded. Orlando Pirates conceding just 11, while Orlando Kaizer Chiefs have conceded 3. This is your favorite online sports show. Today's show comes with a twist as we have a Derby exclusive where we dissect the ins and outs and the expectations that come with a derby. We've got the stats, we've got the preview as promised. This is all things football, football Unpacked. Good afternoon, welcome to it. My name is Apiwe Roto. Remember to go on social media, like the show, subscribe, comment. We're on YouTube at all things football, football Unpacked. On Facebook, all things football at football Unpacked. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video if you can. My potential employer could be watching this one and could make a difference. Let's have a look at what transpired in the last week. We start with the results this week. We saw Orlando Pirates proved too strong for Amazulu with a 3-0 win. Morimo Gallants and Siwelele FC could not be separated, playing to a goalless draw. Orbit falling short to relegation threatened Orbit College, falling short to Golden Arrows by 2-1, while Polokwane City and Kaizer Chiefs played to a goalless draw. Now, Kaizer Chiefs are yet to do a double on Polokwane City, as is the case with Polokwane City, who are yet to do a double on the Amakosi faithful. Premier League football midweek, so last week, 18th April, saw Sunday rather, on the Betway Premiership, saw TS Galaxy go down by that old goal, Richards Bay, with a goal from Sanele Barnes, while Amakesi proved too strong for Durban City, beating them by 5 goals to 2 in an entertaining encounter which was played at the rain-infested Seshego Stadium. Saturday, Premier League football saw Bradford and Fulham play to a goalless draw in that London derby. Currently underway, by the way, is the Premier League. Fulham currently hosting Aston Villa at the Craven Cottage. Leeds United, too strong for Wolves, beating them by 3-0 to survive, to give them a chance of survival and relegation. Newcastle going down by 2-1, and Bournemouth. Tottenham held to a draw rather by Brighton right at the death with a 2-2 scoreline. Manchester United beaten by Chelsea. United beaten by Chelsea rather beaten by Manchester United by an odd goal, a goal from Matheus Cunha just towards injury half time, first half injury time. The first win for Manchester, making it the first Manchester United win at the bridge since 2020 to the pre-COVID era. Sunday saw Everton fall short by 2-1 of the Merseyside derby, the first we played at the Hale Dickinson Stadium. Aston Villa played an entertaining 4-3 win against Sunderland, while Nottingham Forest were too strong for Burnley to give them a chance of survival, beating them by 4-1. Manchester City too strong for Arsenal, who they eventually topple by 2-1. Monday Night Football saw Crystal Palace and West Ham play to a goalless draw. Tuesday, we saw Brighton go down, beating Chelsea by 3-0 in a game that saw the end of Liam Rosinho's tenure at Chelsea. Who was relieved of his duties after that game. And speaking of which, we are going to dissect Chelsea's previous managers in a moment. Now let's have a look at Chelsea's managers since the 2027, since 2007, I beg your pardon. Chelsea have had close to 15 managers since the year 2007, with going dating back to Aaron Grant, who fell short in the Champions League final at the hands of Manchester United in the penalty shootout. 257 to 247 days is the amount of time he spent. But Jose Mourinho was the one who spent the most days, was the one with the most days, having spent 927 days, where he achieved some success with the pre-London based side, while Liam Rossinho has spent the least time, the least amount of time at the land at the stamp at the bridge was 106 days, while Luis Felipe Scolari is on 123. Second most days spent at the at London is Carlo Ancelotti with 690. Thomas Roberto Di Matteo 262 days, despite winning the Champions League, bringing the first Champions League to the London-based side, making Chelsea the first London side to win, making Chelsea the first London side to win the UEFA Champions League in the year 2012. Scoreline currently 1-0 to Fulham at the Craven Cottage. Goals scored by goals We'll let you know in a moment who got the goal in the Aston Villa and Fulham game, which is currently underway. The kickoff for that game was 40 minutes ago at 13:30. Another coach who caught many off guard was Thomas Tuchel, who came through this during the season where Chelsea were in trouble, despite being facing a quarterfinal, despite making a quarterfinal of the Champions League, would eventually bring the London side their second UEFA Champions League. Wednesday saw Man City beating Burnley by an odd goal, leaving meaning Burnley would eventually be relegated, while Bournemouth and Leeds United played to an entertaining 2-2 draw. Betway Premiership football saw the only game to be played on Wednesday midweek, with Mamelodi Sundowns playing to a 1-0 draw against Stellenbosch following a late penalty which cancelled an opener from Katlego Tabeleng in the first half. Speaking of which, we move to the head-to-head. Orlando Pirates. We turn our attention to Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, the main event, which is just less than 24 hours. And the 24 hours kickoff for that fixture is at 1500 hours. It's a sold out affair. Head to head fixture, and we look at the stats. Matches played, the sides have played 184, 50 wins for Orlando Pirates, while Kaizer Chiefs have won 75. 54 of those wins were draws, while Kaizer Pirates have scored 202 goals. Kaizer Chiefs scored 233. The last five meetings, Kaizer Orlando Pirates have won 5 out of 5, while Kaizer Chiefs yet to win a game since the year 2023 after that own goal from Olisanda, who is now at Orlando Pirates. With the last game where Orlando Pirates emerged victorious by 3-0. In with that with led by won by three we emerged 3-0 victors rather. On to here's what you can expect in terms of Orlando formation. What you can expect from Orlando Pirates point of view. Now Orlando Pirates go into the game as favorites on the back of a 3-0 win over Amazulu, a win against their arch rivals, to put pressure on the defending champions in the Mamelodi Sundowns. They have found the back of the net the most this season, with just 50 goals, while their neighbors have scored just 28. The goal difference of 3 in terms of goals conceded. Orlando Pirates have conceded the least amount with 11, while Kaizer Chiefs have conceded 14 goals. Players to look out for: the attacking midfielder, 17 goal contribution, 10 of them were goals, 5 of which he scored from outside the box, namely that dead ball situation. He's proves somewhat of a dead ball situation. Now we're breaking down what you can expect from the game in terms of analysis and stats. Yes. This is what these are just some of the expectations you can expect from the game. The derby will be he's found the back of the net. He's found the back of the net in the derby. He's found the back of the net in the derby. not too long ago. That was the previous season where they won by 2 goals to 1. We'll be looking for his second goal. The derby, 5 of his 10 goals have come from outside the box. He's become something of a dead ball specialist. Coach Oadu will be looking for his chemistry with Austin Apollos, who's just been as brilliant. Also scored in the last derby alongside Tsepa Moremi. They spoiled for choice in terms of the offensive part. Another one to look out for is Evidence Mahopa, who's something of an impact player, like a striker who's going to give defenders a tough time. Most likely will be tossed. Uh, Now, Inacio Miguel is said to have been ruled out of this game due to an injury he picked up at training. It remains to be seen who will be tasked with marking him when he comes onto the field of play. He's relatively aggressive. He's got some physique. He possesses the physique that Kaiser Chiefs defenders do not like playing against. He's already found the back of the net 4 times in the derby against Kaiser Chiefs in all competitions, 3 in the Betway Premiership, while he found the fourth one in the net, the fourth one in all competitions. He's found 4 goals has registered 4 goals in the derby in all competitions. Now, when we talk of all competitions, we refer to the Betway Premiership, the Carling Knockout, the Nedbank Cup, the MTN 8, the CAF Champions League, not forgetting the Confed Cup. In this case, he's registered 4 goals, possesses the fifth physique, and aggression that Amakosi defenders might not enjoy playing against. Furthermore, he will be going against the Chiefs shot stopper and Brandon Peterson, who's considered just 1 goal in the league against the Soweto rivals, playing 3 and winning 3 out of 3. He's never lost against the neighbors in Orlando, their Soweto neighbors in Kaiser Chiefs. The Glamour Boys, who go into the game as underdogs, facing a confident side to currently top the table. Kaiser Chiefs have found their footing, scoring on a regular now, which has been an Achilles for the Nigerian base side. Now, we've spoken about how Kaiser Chiefs play beautiful football, however, have had a hard time in finding the back of the net, turning those chances into opportunities. The decision making, the final third, has left a lot to be desired. A win for Kaiser Chiefs will solidify a CAF spot, with Amazulu having lost in the previous week. For the new season, most likely the CAF Confederation Cup, while Sporting Director Kaiser Mudau Jr. has made it abundantly clear that they would love to see Orlando Kaiser Chiefs finish second and play in the CAF Champions League. Players you can look out for: Captain Fantastic, shotstopper Brandon Peterson returns. He's yet to lose a derby, having considered just 1 goal and that 2-1 win at the hands of at the Orlando Stadium during the COVID era. Missing the last derby due to an emergency surgery, the captain returns to lead from the back. Another player to look forward to, Lebohang Mobue, who's definitely looking to turn his fortunes in the derby. Turn Kaiser Chiefs, not just his fortunes. He played his first derby last time. He's going to be playing in his second derby. He kept clean. There were concerns about players getting yellow cards and would be out of the derby tomorrow. Now, the derby will be the second to be played on Sunday in the PSL era due to logistical reasons. Remember, the game is a sold out affair. If you do not have a ticket, you will be dealt with if you force your way or try to create chaos at the venue. Please stay at home. Please try to get there on time. Transport is there. The resources are there. There's counterfeit. There are scanners to check if you come there with counterfeit tickets, and you are going to have a problem because law enforcement will be forced to deal with you accordingly. Looking to turn his chemistry with Spacey Ndlovu has proven vital for the Glamour Boys. While another player to watch will be Mfundo Vilakazi, who's somewhat of a creative, looking to be a game changer. He's made a difference every time he's come onto the field of play. And more players to look out for: the lanky forward in Flavio De Silva, who's also scoring on a regular. Despite his first touch regularly failing him, he knows when to find. He knows he's always at the right place at the right time, and knows how to find a goal from time. Has found the goals, found the back of the net on a regular basis. Currently sitting on 7 goals in all competitions. Let's get to news headlines, making headlines in the world of football in the last week. Now, we were clear about Saudi Arabia. This story actually came last week. Saudi Arabia parting ways with Harvey manager who took them to their World Cup, two of which were under M, with the last one where they beat the eventual winners in world champions in Argentina. He was sacked by Saudi Arabia, sacked their head coach Harvey Renard from his job just under 2 months before the tournament. He was set to appear at the World Cup with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, he was dismissed from his role as head coach. The decision came after the 57-year-old tactician was put into doubt. Now, there were stories surrounding the 57-year-old Frenchman. He said he's speaking to the AFP, Arabian football publication, if I'm not mistaken. He did state that Saudi Arabia qualified for the FIFA World Cup 7 times, twice with me, and there's one coach who has led them through both the qualifiers and the World Cup, and that was me in 22. At least there will be that sense of pride. It was Reynard's second stint in charge, with his spell running from 2019 to 2023, while the second began in 24. It is understood that the Saudi Arabian national team is now in discussion with coach Georgios Donis, who is currently in charge of the Saudi Pro League outfit in Al Khalij. Moving on to our second story, Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, Sundowns will have been now news just in regarding the CAF Champions League final. Now we understand Mamelodi Sundowns usually host their encounters on Saturday afternoon at the Loftus Versfeld. However, this time times are subject to change. This is football, circumstances that we cannot control from time to time. Now, the first leg which was likely to be played on the 16th, is now going to be played on the 15th of May due to logistical reasons. Now, Mamelodi Sundowns will host the Moroccan side in Asfar Rabat in a game that could not take place on the such usual Saturday afternoon slot due to rugby 2 commitments. Now, the game will also be used for a rugby game in the United Rugby Championship encounter, where the Vodacom Blue Bulls will be hosting the Benetton in a fixture at the same venue the day after, forcing a schedule adjustment with Mamelodi Sundowns with the Loftus. Now, you must remember that Sundowns not so long ago played their games at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium. There are talks of moving the game to the FNB Stadium. However, also not for, we remember also where they won their first Champions League in 2016, which was approximately 10 years ago. They played their games at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium, which has since been ruled out after it failed to meet the Confederation of African Football standards in the year 2022, as the Bafana Bastille played their continental football from 2016 to 2020, to 2020, despite till the venue was eventually ruled out in 2022 following CAF's inspection. Now, Loftus serves as a shade venue. Organizers had little choice but to move Sundowns' Continental Showdown by a day to ensure the pitch and facilities are available and in suitable condition. Now, we've spoken about this. Mr. Mark Leeson has, if I remember clearly, he did say that moving the goals and the rugby goalposts takes some time. It's not as easy as it looks, and it requires 12. The goalposts require approximately 12 men to pick them up and lift them and get them to stand and get the However, the paint on the fields, you get your rugby championship and your Investec Champions Cup and your Currie Cups, though that's paint that's easily removable or whatsoever, as is the case with the lines when you're using the during the game of football. Moving on, standing in their way is FAR Rabat, who will host the return leg at the Moulay Abdullah Stadium in Rabat on the 24th of April of May, which will be a year later. Both sides are keeping the tie alive before heading back home. Now they'll both be looking for their second star. As FAR Rabat will be looking to end 41-year drought, having last won the tournament in 1985. Moving on to our next story, Motsepe Foundation Championship side have been, Leicester City have been ordered to pay two players by the Premier Soccer League Dispute Resolution Chamber outstanding salaries with interest within a space of 10 days of the judgment. Now, the lower division side owes salaries to players, namely Tabo Musadi Tabo Tabo Musadi and Lerato Mohlala, which date all the way back to last season. According to the Football Union of South Africa, at the dispute resolution in the PS Premier Soccer League Dispute Resolution Chamber, they met on Tuesday. The case was deliberated on with the Motsepe Foundation Championship outfit represented by the lawyer who states that I'm from the Premier Soccer League Dispute Resolution Chamber. We had two matters against Leicester Ford, which we won and got the orders for Thabo Musadi and Lerato Mohlala from the Football Union of South Africa, which was stated by by the union secretary Dailo Mutlaong, a tireless advocate for the player welfare of players. He spoke to a football publication in one of the country's leading football publications, stating that it is actually JDR Stars that owes players as debts Leicester Ford inherited. Now, when you buy the status, now what you must understand is that each time a team buys a status of the other club, you inherit everything that comes with that club. If the club is the club owes players money, you inherit those debts. If the club isn't dead, you're going to inherit those debts. We saw this with Bloemfontein Celtic, who had who had to sell their status because they could not afford to pay their players. However, Sean Kizet took over the team, saying, "I will take care of the players. Sell me your status. I'll bring my team to the PSL and I will take care of the players money wise." So in the event that you buy status, now these are careful situations you need to take into consideration. When you buy a team status, you inherit the debt that comes that the team was carrying. It is actually JDR Stars that owes the players money. It's debts Leicester City inherited when they bought the JDR Stars. They thought the team was because the team was bought, they were not going to get away with it, telling us they are not involved in whatever was owed by Ndijeni Nemasisi, who was the former JDR boss, not knowing we were on to them. If we say do the due diligence before you buy stages, then you should listen. What happened is Nemasisi was owing these boys 3 months' salary. I'm talking about salaries for the last season or the previous season. As FUSA, Football Union of South Africa, approached the Leicester Ford City about this, they gave us a runaround. Today, we managed to represent the boys and won the two cases. We are also 3:31.5 hours away from the game between Chippa United and Amazulu and Chippa United in an encounter which will be played at the Moses Mabhida Stadium, while it's currently halftime between Fulham and Aston Villa, where Fulham lead by Villa by an odd goal. They gave us the runaround. Today we managed to represent the boy and won the case. The club was represented. The club was not present. They were represented by their lawyer, who was just there to listen and had no instructions for the club. Failure to play will enforce the players to the PSL to deduct from their monthly grants, said the representative continued to say. As we still talking about the still on the Loftus Versfeld still on the Loftus Versfeld matter of course, we now you must remember the Loftus Versfeld is shared by two sides in Mamelodi Sundowns and of course the Blue Bulls, where Dr. Pedro Motsepe has a stake in both sides. Now speaking we had the certain football publications certain managed to have a conversation with stadium manager and Hugo Kemp, who clarified the situation around the potential fixture clash between the two sides after CAF initially said. Now the final was declared. The dates for the final were announced before the tournament actually started, which was earlier last year, early last year, or towards the end of last year. CAF initially slated the Champions League final first leg to be on the weekend of 16th to 17th of May, with Sundowns set to host us for Rabat. There was a potential fixed venue clash, however, as the Blue Bulls are set to welcome Benetton at Loftus Versfeld this which should kick off in a few, and their United Rugby Championship encounter. Speaking to events manager at Bulls Company, he did clarify the situation, speaking exclusively to the publication in Soccer Doom, stating that the rugby fixtures were formalized more than a year ago. When the soccer fixtures came out, we immediately informed Sundowns of the potential clash. Obviously, we didn't know they would be in final, as we always do, Kemp said. Now, Sundowns, it's always these such situations are always unpredictable. No one knew that Sundowns was in the final because just 2 seasons ago they fell short in the semi-final. However, they did make the final last season. Unbeknown to us, they would make the second successive final for the first time in the side's history, making them the only PSL side to have made 4 Champions League final. All Things Football would like to congratulate Mamelodi Sundowns for achieving this feat. We wish the boys a best of luck. We hope they go out and be great, do what they do best, and bring that second star. When we got the fixture list, we obviously informed Sundowns to say the following games you can try and see if you can move them to an alternative venue, or we moved the game from a Saturday to a Sunday to accommodate Sundowns, because we want the games here, want as many games at Loftus as possible. Now you must remember that Loftus, remember there was a time where Bulls played their games at the Orlando Stadium to accommodate the renovations that took place at Loftus prior to the 2010 FIFA World Cup, which was played on our homes on home soil, the first to be played on the continent. So you practically consider it more as a give and take situation. One or two occasions, it's not possible due to circumstances beyond us and Sundowns. Then, for example, we'll take the game to Lucas Morepe, but we try to host most of the games here. He went on to say he also revealed they offered Sundowns alternative days on the same weekend, either on Friday or on Sunday. With regards to the CAF Champions League final, day one, we did inform them on that Saturday is going to be used on a Saturday. Their Friday 15 and 17 is available, he told the crew. So I think the discussion they are having with CAF is going on for has been going on for quite a while. Perhaps we might just have the final being played on a Sunday. It remains to be seen on the 17th of May, because it is on the weekend of 16-17 May. We might just keyword, I can't stress this enough, keyword, we might just have the game played on the 16th or 17th of May, which will be on a Sunday. Mr. Hugo Kemp told the CA crew it's the discussions that have been ongoing. He cannot talk ahead of Sundowns. Sundowns will have their say. They are ready to host the game on a Saturday and possibly the final on a Sunday. Who knows? Now the return leg will be played in Rabat, where we saw the opening of the CAF Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations between Morocco and Comoros on the 21st of December 2025. Moving right along, we saw now we take it. We're still in the continent. Now I must remind you that the show All Things Football, Football Unpacked, is dedicated to not just local or international football. We go from local football, we go into the continent of Africa before we go worldwide, be it Europe, South America, or North America. The end of the day, the topic is football. The show is dedicated to the beautiful game. Now, speaking, the North African Post recently put out the story following incidents between the supporters of USM Algiers who disrupted the CAF Confederation semi-final against Morocco's Olympic Safi. Now, there's a lot of political rivalry between the two sides, Morocco and Algeria. A Morocco sports photographer was evacuated from the Masera on a stretcher after he was struck on the was struck with an object. As we saw the spectators invade the pitch, throw missiles on the pitch. Witnesses and security sources say the photographer had been targeted amid unrest caused by the visiting supporters of Olympic Safi in the stadium in the game which took place at the in the now, violent incidents were there. Let me start this over. I seem to have lost this. Algerian fans again triggered chaos. Now we saw this last week. The game was supposed to start at 9 p.m. in the evening, Central South African time. However, it was forced to kick off due to half an hour later after what transpired to be spectator trouble, which as a result saw the tournament kickoff, the semi-final kickoff at 10:30 South African time. Now, the tournament, the game saw USM Alger and spectators severely disrupting the CAF Confederation semi-final and the return leg where they took on Olympic Safi. Now, the format fell short to Olympic Safi, and the on an away goals rule after the first leg ended in a goalless draw. A Moroccan sports photographer was evacuated from the venue on a stretcher behind after being struck on the head by a projectile thrown on the stands by the Algerian fans. Witnesses and security sources say the photographer had been targeted following amid unrest caused by visitors and some visiting supporters in in what officials describe as acts of hooliganism and unacceptable violence. Tensions escalated minutes before the scheduled start of the match when groups of USM Alger supporters breached security cordons and spilled onto the pitch, throwing objects and engaging in repeated provocations. The referee was forced to suspend pre-match proceedings as stewards and security forces intervened to regain control of the stadium. The incidents prompted immediate intervention by police units who sought to prevent a wider breakdown of order as fires, missiles, and insults were reported in the stands. Several supporters attempted to approach the playing area, heightening fears for player and official safety. However, although conditions around the pitch were eventually stabilized, the match did not resume as expected. USM Alger players were slow to return to the field despite repeat requests from representatives of the Confederation of African Football, CAF for short. Olympic de Safi players continued their warm-up while uncertainty persisted on whether the fixture would go ahead. Now the game is supposed to kick off at 9 p.m., 8 o'clock local time, 9 p.m. South African time. However, was delayed by 80 minutes, and which saw the game kick off at 20 past 10. The game ended on a 1-0 draw. Controversy arose over the visible presence of Algerian Consul General in Morocco. Now there's been some ongoing rivalry between Algeria and Morocco, which has been going for years. There's also videos circulating on social media which showed the diplomat in conversation with the CAF official while the situation remained chaotic. CAF is yet to issue a statement. It remains to be seen what action will be taken by the USM Alger fans or by the Confederation of African Football regarding the situation. Will most likely come with some consequences and of course a hefty fine. Moving on to our one of our we are moving on to our other story. I can safely confirm now we had the story. We're going to continue with the story. Let me go with the story further. Mamluk Kukune United, Betway Premiership side, have broken their silence regarding the exit of coach Eric Tinkler. Now, the club have been silent regarding the situation, despite the transparency regarding the transparency about his exit. He was absent in the game against Stellenbosch, where assistant coach took over in Carlos Masehe on an interim basis, along with coach Eric Tinkler's 1996 Bafana AFCON winning teammate Andre Aronson. Skukuni now Babina Nogo have have taken to social media to have their say on the events that have recently transpired. Saying Skukuni United confirms that it has reached a mutual agreement with head coach Mr. Eric Tinkler to part ways with immediate effect. Read the club statement. Mr. Eric Tinkler departs the Babina Nogo family after 13 months in charge, which he contributed to the club's ongoing development and competitive progress. The club expresses sincere appreciation for his professionalism and commitment during his tenure. That Mr. Carlos Maceja will resume the role of head coach on an interim basis until further notice. Still talking coaches. We move on to a statement regarding. We're still talking about coaches now. Last week I report now. If you're watching the show, if you're watching for the first time, welcome. We did thank you for joining. Thank you in advance rather for joining, because we are not live. Well, therefore I'm unable to therefore I cannot take your call whatsoever. Now we had a conversation regarding the decision of Andoni Iriola, who was coach of the Cherries, but the Vitality Stadium based side, and the Cherries, Bournemouth, who has decided that he will not be renewing his contract come end of the season. Now there are talks of him relocating back home, and how he will be taking over Spanish side in Athletic Bilbao. Now, the Spaniard has taken to the 43-year-old Spaniard tactician has spoken on the matter to BBC, speaking to British publication BBC Sports, stating that the decision was not about any other club. There was no other club involved. It was about either continuing here or not continuing here. That was all there was to it. I do not know what I want to do next season. I don't know if I am going to be coach, if I'm going to coach a team, a club. I don't know if I'm going to coach an international team. I don't know if I'm going to coach in this continent. I have no idea what is going to happen. I do not know if you are going to believe me, but it's the truth. Also, I don't have any rush to want to know it. I've taken a big decision. I've taken a big decision for me now. I want to focus on what we have in this moment. These next 6 games are massive for us. This is the statement that was made by the 43-year-old Spaniard tactician following his decision, which caught many off guard regarding his decision to resign. We turn our attention to FIFA rankings, which were released in mid-April. Now, these rankings were released by FIFA on the 21st of April, which was on Tuesday. We, from a women's perspective, last week, if you remember clearly, in the previous episode, I gave you the men's rankings from a continental point of view and FIFA. This time we've got Nigeria. This is just the top 30. I saw people on my page. You can go on the CAF website and check the FIFA rankings, or you can go on the FIFA rankings if you're not too sure to check where Malawi is. There, I've been getting grief from spectators asking where Malawi is despite qualifying. I am ahead of the most of the teams in the rankings. Number one, Nigeria lead the pack with the current champions of the continent lead the pack at number one, while for 2022 winners in Banyana Banyana lead the follow at number two. Number three is the Black Starlets of Ghana. The Atlas Lionesses of Morocco are at number four. Copper Queens of Zambia are at number five. The Domitable Lionesses Cameroon are at numbers find themselves at number 6 and number 17. Let's start from a world ranking. Now we got, let's rearrange the whole setup from world. These are not just CAF rankings. We also have the world rankings. From a world ranking, I found the Super Falcons of Nigeria find themselves at number 1 at CAF and 36 in Africa. In the world, I beg your pardon. Well, Banyana find themselves slipping to 58 on the world and are number 2 in the world on the continent. Number 3 is Ghana and are 59 in the world. Number 4 is Morocco on 62 in the world and 4th on the continent. Number 64, Zambia and the world. Number 5 on the continent. Number 6 is Cameroon on the continent. Number 70 in the world. 72 in the world, and number 7 on the continent is the Ivory Coast. Algeria, number 73 in the world, ranked number 73 in the world, and number 8 on the continent. Number 9, Senate, the Indomitable, the Lionesses of Teranga, Senegal, number 80, and number 9 on the moving one up. Moving and number 1 on the and the number 9, I beg your pardon, on the continent. Number 85, Mali, who are number 85 in the world, and the number 10 on the continent. Equatorial Guinea, number 90 in the world, number 11 on the continent. Number 99, Egypt, on the go, moved 2.2 up from number 101. Currently number 12 on the continent. Number 100 are Tunisia, who have gone 2 points down from number 90, from 98 to 100, slipping down to 100. Number 13 in the world, the Democratic Republic of Congo, find themselves on 105, where they were the last time these rankings were released. They find themselves at number 14 on the continent. Moving up from moving one up is called the Congo of Brazzaville, from number 115 to 114. Number 15 on the continent. Number 118 in the world, and the are the Mares of Burkina Faso, and they're 16th on the continent. WAFCON debutants who are going to make their debut in the world, who are also going to make their debut in the FIFA World Cup, and whose male counterparts are going to be making a FIFA World Cup debut since since the since the Blue Sharks even started playing professional football, were admitted to international football after gaining independence from the Portuguese. Capo Verde find themselves in number 17 on the continent and number 119 in the world. 121 is Tanzania, who find themselves number 18 on the continent. Number 124 is Namibia, who are 19th on the continent. On the number in the world, Zimbabwe find themselves 2 up from 129 to 127. Number 20 in the world, 5 from 5 up. We see who are number 133. They are now on 128 as Kenya. Togo find them remain at 134 and 22 on the continent. Gambia find themselves going one up at Gambia and 23 on the continent. Ethiopia find themselves on number 24 on the continent, number 1 on going 1 up to 37 in the world, and 24 in the world, on the continent, I beg your pardon. Benin find themselves in number 25 on the continent, going 1 up to 138 in the world. 142, Guinea find themselves in 142, going 2 up. And number 26 in the world, while going 1 up, is Central African Republic. While Ghana in number 27 in the world, Uganda are in number 28 on the world, going 3 up to 145. Botswana remain at 147, while Gabon are at number 48, going 2 up, and number 30 in the world. This is just the top 30 rankings. The rankings are subject to change. This is not a permanent setup. To those who were asked, who had a lot to say because the rankings were not very happy, asking where Malawi is, this is not a permanent setting. The rankings are set to change over time. Moving right along, let's have it. We've spoken on the coaches Chelsea managerial changes. In case you missed it, we go back to 2007. The Chelsea manager since 2007. We saw Aaron Grant stay for as long as 247 days. We saw Luis followed by Luis, succeeded by Luis Felipe Scolari at 120 to 223 days. 690, second most, Carlo Ancelotti. We also saw Andre Villas Boas, who stayed at the helm for 256 days. Still, Roberto Di Matteo, despite delivering a UEFA Champions League at first ask, was relieved of his duties after 262 days. Italian Champions League winner with Liverpool, with Rafa Benitez, stayed for 187 days. With the London-based side, Jose Mourinho spent the most time winning 3 Premier League titles with the Stamford Bridge-based side. Jose, the Portuguese tactician, then comes Antonio Conte, who also won the Premier League in 2015 in 741 days on his time. Mauricio Sarri was also in at the helm for 337 days. Then you have Frank Lampard, who's a former player at the side, enjoyed some success at the side, staying there for 571 days, 589 days, and Thomas Tuchel, who also delivered the London-based side's UEFA Champions League, the second one, making Chelsea the only London-based side to have won the Champions League. Graham Potter stayed for 206 days, who was coming on as Thomas Tuchel's successor, followed by Mauricio Pochettino and Maresca, who delivered that FIFA Club World Cup, which was played took place in the USA last year as a dress rehearsal for the FIFA World Cup, which will be hosted in the USA, Canada, and Mexico in the new year. Let's take a look at the managerial departures which took place this year. By the way, we had approximately 10 managers sacked in this season, namely and Postecoglou after 40 days. At Nottingham Forest, we also saw Ego Tudor after 43 days. Liam Rossinho spent the third most time, or one of the most kept managers in Liam Rossinha was at Chelsea for 104 days. Sean Dyche followed suit at Nottingham Forest, staying for 114 days. Thomas Frank at Spurs after 244 days. Graham Potter departed with West Ham after 261 days. Vitor Pereira, who's done relatively well at Nottingham Forest at the moment, stayed at Wolves for 318. Ruben Amorim at Manchester United for 420 days. Enzo Maresca stayed at Chelsea, where he won the Club World Cup for 577 days. The most capped coach was Nuno Espirito Santo, who stayed at Nottingham Forest, who gained promotion with Nottingham Forest. It was 628 days after a breakdown in relationship with the club boss. The most capped manager, the least capped manager in the Ham was Postecoglou, who stayed at Nottingham Forest for a maximum of 40 days. Betway Premiership. Let's turn to our results from the week that was. We've just given you the results from the week that was. This time we turn our attention to last night. Before we give you what you can expect this week, we've given you a breakdown of the Betway Premiership, Orlando Soweto Derby, where you of what you can expect, the key players. If you take a like, please do share the show. Please like, comment, and share. Well aware of the poor quality picture. I apologize for it. I know I've apologized many times. Perhaps season 6 will be a lot better. Perhaps if you can come through also, like, comment, share, subscribe on YouTube, where I've been told the quality picture is atrocious. I'm well aware. It's a work in progress. Follow, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. All things football, Unpacked. Ring that bell. Hit that bell for notifications of the show that premieres every Saturday. Go on Facebook, like the show, like, comment, and share. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to hear. The show has been well received so far. We're also on TikTok at all things football _14. We're also on Instagram at all things football _14. Here's Here's what you can expect. Let's start with the results. Betway Premiership. We saw Durban City and Obi College play to a 1-1 draw at the Chatsworth in a rain and first at Chatsworth Stadium. While Gordon Arrows and Siwelele FC played through a goalless stalemate at the Kings Relatini Stadium. Here's what you can expect. Here's what you can expect on the 26th of April, which is 25th of April, which is today. We have a double header. We are close to the start of Amazulu and Chippa United, which is at the which will be played at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in less than 5 minutes. We also have Sekhukhune United, who will welcome Romo Gallants at the new Peter Makabe Stadium. Sunday, we'll see the much anticipated 184th Premier League the 184th meeting between Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs in all competitions. Kaizer Chiefs will be going into this one as underdogs. Orlando Pirates currently on the road to win the Betway Premiership and will be looking to pile pressure on Mamelodi Sundowns, who were held to a draw midweek by Stellenbosch. Will be looking to make it 6 out of 6 over their rivals, while Kaizer Chiefs are out to solidify a cap spot and spoil the party for their Soweto neighbors. Kickoff for that fixture is at 1500 hours. You also have Stellenbosch traveling to Polokwane City at the old Peter Makabe Stadium. TS Galaxy will welcome Magesi FC at the Mbombela Stadium. Kickoff for all three fixtures at 1500 hours. We conclude the game Sunday with another game which will have a huge say in what transpires and who wins the second Betway Premiership, where Richards Bay hosts Mamelodi Sundowns at Umhlatuza Sports Complex, where many sides have had a hard time winning. We turn our attention to what is currently underway. Fulham was with Aston Villa. The second half is currently underway. West Ham welcome Everton at the London Stadium. A loss for West Ham United will most likely see them get relegated. Wolves, who are already relegated from the Premier League, will take on Tottenham Hotspur at the Molineux Stadium, while Liverpool will welcome Crystal Palace at Anfield in what should be a relatively entertaining encounter. We conclude the event with Arsenal taking on Newcastle at the Emirates Stadium. No fixtures on Sunday as a result of the FA Cup commitments. We will see the two FA Cup semi-finals, while Monday we'll see Manchester United play Brentford at the Old Trafford, where they'll be looking to put on a good form after falling short to Leeds United. The Man United were able to respond by beating Chelsea for the first time since 2020 at the Bridge and will be looking to move on a good roll. Semi-final fixtures and the UEFA Champions League. The road to Budapest has reached fever pitch, with Paris Saint-Germain taking on Bayern Munich in the first leg on the Tuesday, the 28th of April, while on the 29th, we'll see Atletico Madrid taking on Arsenal. Tuesday, we'll see former champions face off, defending champion versus a former champion, while Wednesday, we'll see the battle of the former runners-up. Two-time runners-up in Atletico Madrid, who fell short in a space of 2 years, where they fell short to neighbors at Real Madrid in 2014 and 2016, while 2006 runners-up in Arsenal they will be welcoming the 2006 runners-up in Arsenal, who fell short to Barcelona at Stade Parc des Princes in France on the 17th of May in 2006 rather. And that's all we have time for on All Things Football. We apologize for the delay. The show was supposed to start an hour ago, however, due to unforeseen circumstances, it was unable. We could not transpire. It never transpired. However, the saying goes, better late than never. Remember to comment, like, and share. Please do watch the show. The views are appreciated. However, the numbers of despite watching, some of you are yet to subscribe. Please do the noble thing. Follow the page. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell for notification of shows that are going to premiere every Saturday. The season is almost over. The show's almost over for the season. That's all we have time for today. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the football. My name is Apiwe Roto. This has been All Things Football, where we unpack the game and you have been updated. Take care of yourselves and each other. Cheers.